So it's a tradition here on the Synthetic Sports Channel. At the start of every NBA season, we predict every team's season in 3 words or less, and we thought, you know what? Let's spice it up. Let's do it for the NFL this year, too. Before we predict every NFL team season in 3 words or less, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. Arizona Cardinals, Murray Harrison chemistry. I feel like a year ago in the 24 draft, we were kind of all sold that oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the next generational wide receiver in the NFL draft. He's coming out of Ohio State, of course, wide receiver U at this point. And his rookie year was just kind of okay. It seemed like he and Kyler Murray could never really get on the same page. So I think a lot of their success depends on if those two can get it going this year.
I said Gets winning record. Hasn't happened since 2021. They were so close last year. They were 8-9. Defense should be good. Solid running game. And then like you said, if those two can connect, they'll be a solid team and could even make the playoffs. I'm not going to pick them there, but I think they at least get a winning record. Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts breakout. He's gonna do it, Rookie season was pretty good. 3 years of being mid. Get him early in fantasy. If he's in the first round, pick 7, you gotta get him. All reality though, I like the offense. Super young, Penix and everything. I like the team, but Kyle Pitts, he's having the breakout season finally.
I put Kyle Pitts leap, but I put it as a joke. I was gonna be like, yeah, this is the year I'm taking him in fantasy.
Right.
This is finally gonna be the year he capitalizes on all that potential he has. I don't think it's gonna happen. I just think the joke is funny, you know. Baltimore Ravens, make or break. I mean, it seems like they're so close every single year and they just come up short. This year they added Jair Alexander. They still have Derrick Henry. Of course, they got Lamar. They also have DeAndre Hopkins. So it's kind of like, the unction of the NFL. It's not quite by average age because they're actually still pretty young by average age. But you got all these stars from yesteryear. At a certain point, it's just when are they gonna get over the hump?
Well, I'm saying this year finally does it. They're winning the Super Bowl. Maybe I'm just rooting for Lamar here, but so close so many times. Mark Andrews can make the catch this time. They're gonna get it done this Super Bowl. I think this is finally the year. And the team they're gonna beat, Buffalo Bills, AFC title loss. I think it happens again. I mean, the Bills, they're gonna be very good. They're one of the preseason favorites to win it all. There's no reason they shouldn't be a great team this season. Josh Allen, he could go back-to-back on MVPs, but I think they fall in the AFC title game once again.
See, I went with gets over hump for Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
I think this is finally going to be the year. I believe in Josh Allen. I didn't believe in him coming out of the draft because I watched the one game he played against Oregon when they went to Wyoming and he fucking sucked. But he has proven me wrong. I think this is finally the year they get over the hump. Carolina Panthers, Bryce continues improvement. Bryce Young, his rookie year was kind of terrible. Last year, at the end of the year, the last 10 games especially, he really started to turn around a little bit, showed some of that potential he had at Alabama. They went and got him Tet McMillan in the draft, a big, 6'5" wide receiver, big target for him to throw to. So I think he continues, a nice little steady rise.
I'm on the same page. I said Young proves himself. Yep, disappointing rookie season. Started last year, got benched at one point. It was looking bad, but quietly in the second half of the season, looked pretty good. Like you said, you're bringing McMillan. They're not going to do shit at the Panthers, but I think Bryce Young at least looks like a franchise QB. Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, savior. I mean, Caleb Williams had all that hype, but fucking Eberflus, terrible coach. Ben Johnson, I love him. I love his offenses. They're so fun to watch, the trick plays, everything going on. I think he unlocks Caleb, and they're a very good team. The division is brutal, so they might not make the playoffs, but I think Caleb looks good, and Ben Johnson saves his career early on.
That's why I said pressure's on Caleb. I mean, yeah, you had the excuse last year of having Eberflus as your head coach, but now you got a guy who's as highly respected as Ben Johnson. And Caleb last year, I mean, he was fine. Just looking at the stats, he was okay. He's 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. Took a lot of sacks though, and tried to do the same thing he did a lot in college, which is, try to get away, be elusive. That's not gonna fly in the NFL. So, pressure's on Caleb. We haven't heard a bunch of glowing reviews about him coming out of training camp from the Bears. So the pressure's really on him to make it work. Cincinnati Bengals, offense not enough. I mean, there was a problem last year. They couldn't stop anybody. They had a great offense, couldn't stop nosebleed. And I think that's going to be the same problem this year. I mean, in the preseason, they had series where they had their ones out there, and they couldn't stop anybody in the preseason. So, you know, as good as Burrow's probably going to be, I've seen people be like, oh, could he win MVP even if his team's not that good? Maybe, because he's going to put up numbers. I still got Chase, Higgins, but I just don't believe in that defense.
Yeah, defense still sucks. I mean, Trey Hendrickson, it sounds like they got that worked out and everything. I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football. Best 1-2 punch, wide receiver 1 and 2, but the defense is going to be so ass. They could probably still make the playoffs, but they're not doing anything come playoff time with that terrible defense. Cleveland Browns wins 3 games. I think their over-under's 3.5. I could even see it being like 2, but the opening schedule, look at this. Versus the Bengals, at Ravens, versus Packers, at Lions, versus Vikings, and then at Steelers. That's 0-6 off the bat.
Yeah.
I'll give them like 1 division game they get on the road versus the Jets in week 10, and then at home versus the Titans week 14, but that's it.
I put year-long QB controversy. I mean, the QB picture, it got a little less muddled when they sent Kenny Pickett to the Raiders, but, you know, Flacco, he's what, 40? He's not lasting a full season for sure. And as much as I would love to see Dylan Gabriel succeed as an Oregon fan, I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback right away if he does get his shot. So, you know, it's really all going to like center around Shedeur Sanders. You know, you're going to have the Shedeur fans and the Shedeur haters going back and forth. I think his fans are delusional, and I also think his biggest haters are delusional. Like, he's a decent prospect with clearly some potential, but he's got some bad habits that worked in college that are not going to work in the NFL. But as long as he is on the roster and he's not playing, there's going to be a lot of noise around that franchise. Dallas Cowboys, coping and seething. I mean,
you are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething.
what was this? Like, I know Jerry is not known as being the best GM in the world, and I know he loves to like hold off paying his guys and eventually gets burned by having to pay him more. He did it with CD, he did it with Dak, but he's yapping at this press conference like, we could have paid Micah. Why didn't you then? Like, what? So, bad year for the Cowboys, I think.
Yeah, I said NFL laughingstock. What's crazy to think about, what I was thinking about after the Parsons trade, they are by far the biggest brand in football, and it's been, what, like 30 years since they've won a Super Bowl? Like, imagine the Lakers had a 30-year title drought. The Yankees went 30 years without winning a World Series. It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, the offense might still be good. Dak, you know, last when he was healthy, 2023, amazing. George Pickens there now, but they're just a laughingstock. Denver Broncos, AFC West contenders. That's going to be a really tough division. Obviously, the Chiefs still there. Chargers should be competing. The Denver Broncos, I'm not going to pick them to win the AFC West, but at the very least, they're contenders. Bo proved me wrong last season. I expect him to be good in his sophomore season as well. So I think another year they make the playoffs and they contend for that division.
Yeah, I said Bo knows football, baby. That might be sacrilegious to play off the old, you know, Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
But hey, Bo Nix was named after Bo Jackson, so I feel
enough.
like it's apropos. I, as an Oregon fan, wanted Bo to succeed, and even I was surprised how good he was last year. I think they improve on it this year. Again, yeah, they're not going to win their division with the Chiefs there, but they're going to make the playoffs, and you know what? I think they could beat someone in the playoffs. Detroit Lions, offense suffers regression. I don't know how much regression, probably not a whole lot. I still think the Lions are going to be really good, but when you lose a coordinator as good as Ben Johnson, you're going to take a step back at least a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of on the same page. I said coordinator losses matter. I mean, you lose your offensive and defensive coordinators. That's tough. They're still going to be good. They got a great roster. I don't expect them to have this massive regression, but I think at least, you know, early on, we're going to notice those coordinators not being there. Green Bay Packers, second best NFC after the Parsons trade. I mean, how could you not love this team? If Jordan Love can stay healthy, I think they're definitely Super Bowl contenders, but I got them losing to the Eagles in the NFC title game.
I put Micah. I don't know if I've seen a fan base like this excited for a trade ever in the NFL. Like, Packers fans are over the moon bringing in Micah Parsons. Tom Grossi's reaction, by the way, is hilarious if anyone hasn't seen it, especially because he's on stream with Scooter Magruder, who's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, yeah?
It's just hysterical. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I think Parsons dominates that division. Bears fans, you know, cover your eyes because Caleb's going to be running for his life again for the next couple of seasons. Houston Texans, consensus worst worst O-line. I actually was looking up like O-line rankings for the NFL, and they all had like different ones in like the top 5 or whatever. Some had different ones at number 1. I looked at like 6, and all of them had the Houston Texans as the worst O-line. So when you have a young quarterback like CJ Stroud, as talented as he is, having the worst O-line in the NFL, it's not great.
That's true, but I still said default division winners. I mean, ever since Peyton left the Colts, Texans have kind of just been the default winner of that division. Sure, like the Jaguars had a couple years they won it. The Titans, led by Henry, they won it a couple times, but besides that, the Texans just seem to always win that division. I'm not high on any other team in that division going into this season, so just by default, even with that trash offensive line, they got a good defense. They're gonna win the AFC South, in my opinion. For the Colts, Anthony Richardson sucks. I mean, I was high on him coming into the draft. It was like 2 weeks ago. We were at Korean barbecue and I was still like, he's still, give him time. And then the next day, it's announced that Daniel Jones is the starter. Fuck me, man. He sucks. I have to admit it at this point.
That crashed hard for you, man. I said punting too early. When you drafted Anthony Richardson, you knew he was a project, okay? He wasn't great throwing the football at the University of Florida. He was like 17 touchdowns, 9 picks, completed like barely over 50% of his passes. What did you expect when you drafted him? I mean, really, I know NFL teams ever since Josh Allen are like, oh, if we get a guy with good measurables and we can just teach him how to throw. It's like, yeah, but this guy's a project. He's younger than a lot of rookies. Whether you think he's good or not, we know Daniel Jones isn't.
Right.
So it's like, why are you giving up on this young guy so early in his career? Jacksonville Jaguars, two-way Travis? I mean, look, everyone keeps saying it's impossible that Travis Hunter can play both ways on offense and defense in the NFL. But I always respond is like, look, stuff's impossible until somebody does it. Like, try telling someone in like the 1850s, like 100 years later, we put a man on the moon. They look at you like you were crazy. Will Travis Hunter be the first to do it? I mean, he was the first to do it full-time in college.
I said make or break. Specifically, we're talking about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, besides 2022, when they made the playoffs, he really hasn't done much. I know the Jaguars, they're not a great franchise. There was that whole just Urban Meyer disaster, but I swear I remember going into the draft, people were talking about him like he was getting Andrew Luck type comparisons.
He was, yeah.
And early on, like, I just haven't seen it. Kansas City Chiefs, dynasty showing cracks. I don't think the Chiefs are going to regress like huge. I still think they're going to be a good team, but how many times last season did they get bailed out by a call? Did they win a game with a field goal? Did they make a play at the end? Like, honestly, they weren't like a great team. Sure, they made the Super Bowl. They got their shit pushed in. So I think this season, like, we're starting to see some cracks, and they might need to retool for a couple of years before they get back to winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, I put Mrs. Super Bowl, and it's like, oh, what a hot take. They missed Super Bowl. Well, they've made it 5 of the last 6 seasons. So actually, it is like a hot take that they're going to miss it this year. It's really hard in the NFL to have sustained success, especially like the way the Chiefs have done it. Making 5 Super Bowls in 6 seasons is basically unheard of. Maybe Travis is a little distracted planning his wedding and whatnot. So, I think this is one year that the Chiefs miss it. The Raiders, Seahawks Vegas reunion. I mean, you got Pete Carroll down there. You got Geno Smith. Right. And just like the Seahawks, they'll be good, not great. I'm actually really curious to see how Ashton Genty does in the NFL. I know people were dogging on him a little bit after his first preseason game because he had like 2 carries for like -3 yards. I'm like, guys, he carried the ball 2 times. Like, calm down. I think he's going to be fine. But yeah, just like the Seahawks under Carroll and Geno Smith, they'll be good, but unremarkable.
I said last in West. Specifically, we're talking about the AFC West here. I mean, every other team is really good, and then you have them just probably going to be mid. I mean, offense should be interesting. Like you said, Genty, Brock Bowers, he might be the best tight end in football. You got Chip Kelly run the show now, like Pete there. There's a lot of interesting things going on, but they're finishing last in that division. Los Angeles Chargers, no what ifs. Justin Herbert, he's Mr. What If, but this is the year he gets it done. Dude's fresh off of pulling Madison beer. He's got all the confidence in the world. I'm picking the Chargers to win this division. Justin Herbert's getting that playoff win. The what ifs are gone.
I'm not picking them to win the division, but I did say Herbert playoff win because it's got to happen at some point.
Right.
Like, the dude is too talented to not have a playoff win on his record at this point. And of course, just as an Oregon fan, I'm going to be pulling for the homegrown Oregon kid. By the way, did you know Justin Herbert grew up in Eugene, Oregon?
Heard it a couple times.
Before playing at the U of L. So I'm buying in this year. The Rashawn Slater injury does kind of scare the shit out of me, but I made this list before that happened, so you know what? I'm just riding with it. I believe in the Chargers for at least 1 playoff win this year. LA Rams, Stafford load management. I'm hearing some bad things out of like Rams camp about Matthew Stafford's back, how it's going to have to be, managed throughout the year. Rams got Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup, and while he's too frail to be a starter, if he's your backup, he could come in, maybe win a a game or two if Stafford's hurting. So Stafford's getting near the end. He's what, like 37 at this point. So, manage that back injury, make sure he's fresh come playoff time, and see if he can make another run.
Yeah, same page again. All on Stafford. I mean, if Stafford's healthy, this could be a Super Bowl team. They got the defense, they got weapons. He arguably could still be a top 5 quarterback when healthy. But yeah, the back things, they apparently got some like trailer with a hyperbolic chamber, whatever the hell that was going on. And that does not sound good, but he might be the toughest dude in the NFL. So if he can play at a high level, they could win the Super Bowl. Miami Dolphins, fool's gold. I mean, it didn't really happen last year. They didn't get off to a good start, but 2023, I remember they got off to a really good start, and then, the weather gets bad or Tua gets hurt. The schedule early on, like they could start 3-1, 5-2. You might have some people saying like, oh, could the Dolphins make the playoffs? But then the cold weather's gonna hit or Tua's gonna get injured and they're not gonna end up doing shit.
Yeah, I put does Tua last. I mean, at this point, you kind of got, it's like Kawhi. You kind of got to pencil in he's going to miss some games here or there. And the backup QB options for the Dolphins, it's Zach Wilson, who sucks, and then Quinn Ewers, who
sucked in college.
Yeah, sucked in college. Yeah. Well, I mean, considering how Arch was playing,
True.
maybe actually he was
Fair
really
enough.
good for that team. But yeah, I mean, if Tua has to go out, can Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers hold down the fort? I'm not betting on that. Minnesota Vikings come crashing down. I don't think they're going to be like god awful or anything, but they won 14 games last year when basically no one expected them to. Sam Darnold had like a borderline MVP season, but he's gone, and now you're bringing in a rookie in JJ McCarthy. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but I think this is probably like more realistically like a 10-ish win team because there's going to be some growing pains with a young QB.
Yeah, McCarthy struggles early. Jordan Addison out to start the year. You bring back Thielen, gives him another option, but you sit an entire year. McCarthy was good at Michigan, but really wasn't asked to do a ton, so I like him in the future, but I think early in this season, he shows some struggles and then picks it up to end the year. New England Patriots sleeping on May. I mean, you had Caleb Williams, hyped up first overall pick. Jaden Daniels had an incredible, maybe the best QB rookie season ever. So no one's talking about Drake May, but 15 touchdowns, 10 picks, 66% completion percentage with not a ton of weapons there. I don't expect the Patriots to do a ton. They got a solid defense, still not a ton of weapons, but people are kind of sleeping on Drake May.
I have Henderson RB1. I got an up close and personal watch of him twice this past year when Ohio State came to Autzen. And then when they fucking slapped us upside the head at the Rose Bowl, he broke off like a 70-yard touchdown run in that game. He's got insane speeds, insane agility. I think by the end of the year, he's the starting running back for the Patriots. New Orleans Saints, lackluster QB room. I know they got your boy Spencer Rattler.
Right.
He's the starter for right now. And then they got Tyler Shuck, who they took with the 40th overall pick. Look, I have anchoring bias against Shuck because his first year in college football, he was playing for Oregon in the COVID season, and he was not very good. And then Rattler, I mean, he'll be fine, I guess, but they were put in a really bad place by Derek Carr retiring last year.
I went even farther and said worst QB room.
There you go.
I like Spencer Rattler because, I saw him in that Netflix show Beyond the Lights, then watched him at Oklahoma, so it's like cool seeing him in the NFL, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback. He just isn't. And then Tyler Shuck, I mean, he could be good, had some moments in preseason, but at least early on, like, that's just a bad QB room. New York Giants might go winless. I don't think they will because it hasn't happened since I think like the Browns did in 2017, but it's a tough division. You have to play the Chiefs. You go on the road at Denver, at Detroit. You host the Vikings. You play the 49ers, the Packers. Look at that schedule. They might not win a game.
I mean, I just put Russ sucks. I mean, you see that like one duck interception he threw in preseason?
Awful.
Just terrible.
Sailed on him.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be the starter, I'm assuming. I don't think he lasts very long. And then from there, where do you go? Do you go to Jameis? You know what you have with Jameis? Or do they pivot to Jackson Dart? Dart looked pretty damn good in preseason, honestly. So I wouldn't be surprised if, brutal schedule after 6-7 games. Maybe they're like 1-6. They turn to Jackson Dart. New York Jets, Fields' last chance. Look, I want to give Justin Fields the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't really gotten a whole bunch of great situations in his career. He's drafted with the Bears, who terrible, as we all know. And then he goes to the Steelers, actually plays pretty well through 5 games. And then he's benched when Russ comes back, and Russ was okay. So now he goes to the Jets. He has another chance to be a starter. But if he can't put up some decent performances here, he's getting relegated to backup.
I just said better than Giants. I mean, they're not going to be the worst team.
That's not a high bar.
Yeah, it isn't a high bar whatsoever. Not really high on Justin Fields. He could be okay, but he's not a long-term answer future at QB. Defense should be good, but yeah, on offense, they don't have a ton of weapons either. So at least they're not going to be the worst team in New York. That's all I got for them. Philadelphia Eagles almost repeats. I think they make the Super Bowl, but they lose to my pick, the Ravens. There's no reason they can't repeat. It's just so hard to do in the NFL, but they're stacked everywhere. So I think they almost repeat, but just can't quite do it.
I put offensive learning curve. I mean, they lose Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator. He goes to the Saints to be the new head coach. They promoted from within Kevin Patullo, their passing game coordinator. So, hopefully there's not too much change in like the verbiage and whatnot, and maybe even the play calling, but there's always going to be a slight learning curve when you bring in a new coordinator. They still got Saquon. They still got AJ Brown. They still got Jalen Hurts. They've got weapons out the wazoo. So I don't think they're going to take that much of a step back, but there is going to be a slight learning curve, I think, at least early in the season. Pittsburgh Steelers, Rodgers should have retired. I mean, go out in the draft next year, get a QB. It's a QB deep draft because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is lighting up this year. I think we're going to stop at the end of the year and be like, yeah, he should have just hung it up, Bad move for all parties involved, honestly.
I think that's the most likely scenario, but I still said biggest dark horse. A-Rod, maybe he's got something left in the tank. He probably doesn't, but I would love to see it. It would just be funny to see. You bring in DK, who, as a Seahawks fan, was inconsistent at times, but he can have some monster games. The defense is absolutely stacked, so some games it might just take Aaron Rodgers getting you 21 points, maybe even getting you 17 to get some wins. So I think they're a big time dark horse. Probably they'll flame out. That's probably what's going to happen, but you never know. San Francisco 49ers, McCaffrey bounce back. I don't know about the team as a whole. I think they'll at least be better than last season. They're healthy going into the year, but the team is so old at this point. I think some players, they're going to get banged up. They're not young and healthy enough to be a Super Bowl contender anymore, but I think at least McCaffrey, he's going to bounce back. I think he's a guy to draft in fantasy. As a whole, probably a playoff team and like an early exit.
I put very workable schedule. Like according to most metrics, they have the easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. Play a playoff team with that schedule. Will they be a Super Bowl contender? Probably not, but they're still solid. Seattle Seahawks, Darnold is mid. Let's not be tricked about it. He had a great year last year. He was amazing. 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. Like I said earlier, borderline MVP conversation. I just do not see him repeating it. The Seahawks, I think they're just kind of average coming in this year, so I expect Sam Darnold to be that as well.
All cope as a Seahawks fan. Wild card exit. We're making the playoffs, and then we're probably getting our shit pushed in by like the Buccaneers or something. The defense should be really good at the very least, so I think they, surprise people a little bit. I see a lot of people picking them last in that division, which is fair, but I think they sneak into the playoffs and then, get bounced in probably embarrassing fashion. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wins playoff game. Could be like a sneaky dark horse team as well, so I at least got them winning one playoff game. They're going to host it, and they're going to get the win.
I've got Baker MVP candidate. They still got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Urban's really solid running back. Mecca Buka looked great in the preseason. I think, like you said, they win their division. I think Baker finds himself in the MVP conversation. Tennessee Titans needed QB reset. You got Cam Ward coming in. It's a fresh start for the organization, and it's something they desperately need because they have not been good for the past couple seasons. Is Cam Ward like a generational prospect like most number one picks in the draft? No. I mean, the Titans kind of got unlucky that last year was a really weak QB draft. Ward just happened to be the best guy available. I still think he could be a really solid pro. Whether he's like, a guy who can lead you to a Super Bowl, I'm not exactly sure. I think he's got the makeup for it, but I'm not sold on him quite yet.
I said Ward looks good. I think he'll look good. He's not going to look great. This ain't Jaden Daniels, having this insane rookie season, but I think he'll have some flashes, have some moments, and overall just look good and be worth that first overall pick. Like you said, it was a really weak QB draft, but I think they got the guy, like the one QB out of this draft, at least we've seen so far, that can be a franchise guy. So I think overall he looks pretty good. Washington Commanders, one step back. I think they'll still be good. Jaden Daniels should still be very good for them. You bring in Debo, still got Terry McLaurin. Like, they should be a really good team, but I don't know if they're going to go quite back to the NFC title game, have this incredible season. There were so many games where they barely won, and I still think they're going to be good, at the end of games with Daniels there, but just one step back this season.
Yeah, I said Daniels' sophomore slump because realistically, unless they make or win the Super Bowl, how could they not take a step back? Like, Jaden Daniels, AFC title game, maybe the best rookie season by a quarterback we've ever seen. Statistically, it's almost impossible for him to do better than that in just his sophomore year, unless he's going to be like, the guy to join the conversation with like, Lamar and Mahomes and Josh Allen. Maybe he could be, but to ask all of that from a guy in year two, I think is a little bit much. So yeah, I think he takes a little bit of a step back this season. That's the video, guys. What are your 3 words for every NFL team? We'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.